Hello everybody and welcome to my first video of how did I paint this Genestealer. Now the Genestealer that we're using today, our model if you like, is from Series 1 of Space Hulk back in the day, back in 1989. So this is the kind of finished standard that I have given him, and what I'm going to do is just talk about the paints I used. Now all the paints I did use were from the Citadel range. So firstly I undercoated him in abaddon black, and then once he was undercoated I let him dry. I'm going to move him out of the way, and I started on his flesh colour. So the flesh colour used was here, and it's a base coat, and it's daemonette hide. Firstly around all the skin areas, hands, face, also these old Genestealers, as you can see there on his back, you can actually see skin, where the newer ones you can't. So there you go. I'm just going to point out brush around there. So that was the first stage. Oh yeah, I will not be painting any of these models on this video. They're already painted and in the stage is ready to go. So that was the first one. The second stage here is the rest of his body, painted in blue. So for example, like the tail, the arms, his legs, his chest, and that was painted in kantor blue, another base colour. And then my next stage was to shade the skin. So this guy here has had the skin shaded, and again back, hands, and his head, around the feet area. And I used for this one a shade colour known as druchii violet. Then after that I shaded the body, all the blue parts that were painted in kantor blue, and they were shaded with nuln oil. Moving on. So now was the layers. So as you can see now on the skin, again go back to the skin, I've layered now some of the areas. Usually what I have done with previous models was, once I've shaded, I've gone back over to the original colour. So I would have used base, we used daemonette hide again. I'll see this one again, just to go over some of the areas that are not in the recesses. So all the bits pretty much that are all sticking out. However, I didn't. So I gave him a layer. You can see where, if we just get a close up, you can actually see where the skin's lighter on his back, hands, places pretty much which are sort of like protruding most. And I used this layer, Wolfridge Grey. And then once that was done, I used, well, for his claws, because his claws were still black. This is obviously the next layer. Now, if you look very closely, just on the tips of the claws, again, where the area sticks out the most, I used this colour. This is a layer colour called Dark Reaper. I also put them on his feet as well, right on the tips there. You probably just about make it out. Now, the next stage was the tongue. Now, there's gonna be a few colours here now, so we'll actually start with the tongue. So what I did was I firstly painted it in Screamer Pink. When it dried, usually I'd probably give it a shade, but I didn't. Usually, probably the shade I probably would have used was that. However, I didn't use druchii violet. I just went straight onto the sort of like edges, and I gave it a layer of pink horror. And also, we look again at this dude's claws. Now, if you look at the tips there, where I where I did use the Dark Reaper, I just kindly thinned it down again, and I used dawnstone. So that's that one. Now we're on to our finish in Genestealer. Now, if you look at the extreme edges of his body where the blue is, I just went around all the extreme edges, and that was made of a layer alaitoc blue. And just to finish off, let's have a look. I painted his eyes, however I only used one colour for this, and I used Averland Sunset. I probably will actually finish this guy, and I probably might end up giving him some like a even tinier red dot for a pupil. If I was to do that, I'd probably use Methystone Red. So there you go, that's the finished product. I hope that did help everyone. Like I say, this Genestealer was used from the first edition of Space Hulk back in 1989. These models are pretty much smaller than the original Genestealers. Funny enough, I do have a Genestealer here. This is from the 3rd and 4th edition. Now, you look at these guys, they are pretty different in size. This guy's slightly bigger. So anyway, enough said on that. So yeah, I'll be right under the description again, exactly what all the colours we used. And I hope this helped everyone. And I'll see you all soon for the next video. Stay safe, keep cool, and I'll see you soon. Take care.